Welcome to the video. Today's topic: AMD's new RX 970 XT. What's the hype about? Why this GPU matters in 2025? Big question. Is it truly faster than all current GPUs? Part 2. Real world versus specs. Why specs alone don't tell the full story. Importance of resolution, driver optimization, thermals, power use. AMD's goal. Performance plus smart energy use. Part 3. 4K gaming performance. RX 970 XT beats 9700 XT by 3 to 7% at 4000. Small but consistent LED. Why that matters for high-end gamers. Part 4. 144 OP and 108 OP. Testing smaller gains at lower resolutions. 9700 XT still strong for 108 OP and 144 OP. Why RX 970 XT is more for future-proofing than raw speed at lower res. Part 5. Power efficiency. Major highlight. Energy efficiency. Lower power use equals less heat, quieter fans. Smaller builds important for compact PC setups. Part 6. Synthetic benchmark scores. 3DM, RK time SPI and Speedway results. RX 970 XT beats RTX 4080 Super by 6 to 8%. What this means in context: not flagship, but performs like one. Part 7. Clock speeds and specs. Base clock to 0.5 to GHz. Boost up to 3.0 GHz for 1960 stream processors. 16 GB of VRAM. Plenty for 4K gaming and creative work. Asus variant maintains performance without heating upward. 8. Practical takeaways. So far, who benefits at what resolution? Is this GPU overkill for some users? How to decide. Game type, resolution, workload. Section 2 to be written after. Build quality and thermal performance. Memory bandwidth and why it matters. RDNA for architecture explained simply. Power consumption and thermals in detail. Pricing vs value compared to NVIDIA. Target users, gamers, creators, future proofers. AMD's strategy and market positioning. Conclusion and final thoughts. Step 2. SCRIPT. Section 1 approx. 5,000 words. Welcome back. In today's video, we're looking at one of the most talked about GPUs in 2025, AMD's new Radeon RX 970 XT. There's a lot of excitement around this release. Many are saying it could be the best high-performance GPU of the year and possibly faster than everything else in its class. M says it brings better power efficiency, higher frame rates, and next-level performance, but can it really deliver in real-world use, or is this just marketing hype? Let's find out. Specs don't tell the whole story when it comes to graphics cards. It's easy to get lost in the numbers. Clock speed, memory size, teraflops, it all looks impressive. But performance isn't just about raw specs. It also depends on your screen resolution, how games are optimized for the card, the thermal performance of the GPU, how much power it uses, and of course, price. That's why real-world testing is key. In this video, we've looked at dozens of benchmarks across many games and settings, and we now have a much clearer picture of how the RX 970 XT actually performs, not just in labs, but in actual gaming setups. Let's dive into it. Performance at 4K, where it matters most. First, let's talk about 4K gaming. This is where the RX 970 XT really shines. When tested against the popular RX 9700 XT, AMD's previous high-end card, the 970 XT shows a performance bump of around 3 to 7%. That might sound small, but for top-tier 4K gaming, even a few extra frames per second can make a big difference. Why? Because when you're pushing ultra settings at 4K, any extra headroom means fewer stutters, better consistency, and smoother gameplay, especially in demanding titles like Cyberpunk, Starfield, and Flight Simulator. And this lead isn't just in one or two games. Across a wide selection of titles, the RX 970 XT consistently outperforms its predecessor. It's not a huge leap, but it's a reliable one. For 4K gamers, that kind of consistency is golden. How it performs at 144 OP and 108 OP and OW. Let's talk about more common resolutions. 144 OP and 1080p. At these settings, The performance gap between the RX 970 XT and the 9700 XT shrinks a lot. In some games, it's only a 1 to 3 frame per second difference. This tells us something important. If you're mainly playing at 108 OP or 144 OP, you might not notice a big change with the RX 970 XT. In fact, for most people at those resolutions, the 9700 XT is still a great option, but here's the key: future-proofing. Even if you don't need all that power today, more demanding games are coming. The RX 970 XT gives you extra headroom for next-gen titles, better support for ray tracing, and smoother performance as games become more complex. So, it's not just about today's frame rates, it's about performance 2 or 3 years down the road. Power efficiency. One of its biggest strengths is where the RX 970 XT really pulls ahead. AMD has made energy efficiency a top priority in this release. The RX 970 XT uses less power than the 9700 XT even while delivering better performance. Why does that matter? Lower power use means less heat, quieter fans, lower electricity bills, easier to cool in small cases, and longer GPU lifespan. If you're building a compact PC or want a quiet setup, this makes a big difference. It's also a good sign for the health of the GPU over time. Less heat stress means fewer issues in the long run. For creators, streamers, or anyone gaming for hours at a time, it's a smart investment. Synthetic benchmarks. What the numbers say: benchmarks don't always reflect real-world gaming, but they do give us an idea of raw performance. The RX 970 XT scored 14,591 in the 3DM Arcade Time Spy Extreme test. In the Speedway benchmark, it scored 6,345. That puts it 6 to 8% ahead of NVIDIA's RTX 4080 Super, a much more expensive GPU. Yes, the 4080 Super has its own strengths, but in terms of price to performance, the RX 970 XT is punching well above its weight. And here's what's even more interesting: this is not AMD's flagship card. If the mid-high range is already beating NVIDIA's top cards, imagine what AMD's future flagship will look like. This is a strong message. AMD isn't just competing, they're aiming to lead. Clock speeds and raw specs. Let's look at the raw numbers now. The RX 970 XT features a boost clock of up to 3.0 GHz. That's a very high speed for any GPU, and it allows for smoother frame delivery in heavy workloads. The base clock sits at around 2.5 GHz, with 4,960 stream processors under the hood. In simpler terms, this GPU is built for speed. It also includes 16 GB of RAM. That's important, especially for 4K gaming, where games need more memory for textures and assets. If you're a video editor or 3D creator, that 16 GB buffer gives you space to work without bottlenecks. Early tests with Asus partner models showed excellent thermal performance. Even under heavy load, the cards stayed cool, with fans running quietly and no thermal throttling. That means you can push this card hard, and it won't break a sweat. Real-world gaming takeaway so far. Here's what we know if you're gaming. At 4K, the RX 970 XT is worth serious consideration. It's faster than the 9700 XT, cooler, and more efficient. At 144 OP or 108 OP, the performance gains are smaller. But if you're planning to upgrade your monitor later, or want a GPU that'll last for 4 to 5 years, this one gives you peace of mind. It's not just about raw speed, it's about stability, heat, noise, and future performance. Seems to be focusing on the whole experience, not just frame counters, and that's a welcome change.